Welcome to Pirate Living Podcast. We are your hosts, Karan and Kristen. On this podcast, we are highlighting ordinary people living extraordinary lives. These are pirates who take small, bold actions daily to create social change. Pirate life is all about rebelling and breaking the rules for good. Creating lasting social change starts by first breaking our inner rules. After all, the hardest rules to break are your own. The pirates we highlight have dedicated themselves to creating good trouble. Today, we are talking with Clayton Miller. Clayton has been charting his own course for much of his life and is familiar with pushing to the edges of the map. Clayton has been an event coordinator for many fun events, such as Paleo FX. He's a fantastic retreat photographer. He's even taken pictures at my own retreat this past fall and did an amazing job. And Clay is a punster extraordinaire and a sneaky, sneaky ninja. So welcome, Clayton. We're glad to have you today.
Thank you for having me. A pleasure to be on.
So we're glad to have you here. And you've been following your inner compass and allowing it to guide you for much of your life. So will you settle in and weave us a tale of what led you on your pirate journey and brought you to where you are today?
Sure. I've always gone against the grain uh, uh, coming from Pennsylvania to Austin, Texas, and and getting to meet Mark England right after I came to Austin's really when I found community and started living much more of a pirate life with everyone there on it in different places and meeting like Mike Bledsoe and now helping him with the strong coach. And so, it's finding out what lights me up and connecting with my body and what my soul's telling me and following that path.
Sorry, your otter OI just sent a chat message to all of us and it popped up on the screen. So we're familiar with technical distractions on this podcast. So
yeah. I turned off my second screen.
So yeah, you've been involved in a lot of things like Paleo FX, and you worked with Strong Coach, Matt Mark. So well, you've been working with a lot of pirates, modern day pirates. I have a question. Do you have any favorite pirates? Or do you know of any pirates?
I've heard Mark talk about plenty of them, and the names escape my mind, and all I can think of is like Jolly Rogers. But yeah, Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, there you go. He's a great one.
So what kind of work are you doing right now? Tell us about the work you're doing.
Most recent thing I did was do the event photography for Mark's pirate and lifted activation he did at the lake for the 2 weekends. Was only supposed to be there for 1 weekend and got to spend both weekends there and get to see Kristen and him and Lance. So that was amazing. And then like for Mike Bledsoe and them at the Strong Coach, I do some email marketing things for them and podcast creation for them and all sorts of random tasks. And then for like my friends Tom and Cole, I help them facilitate some of their events that they do and do technical things for them and do photography for all sorts of different people for events and headshots and just get to do all sorts of fun things.
It's very cool.
What got you into, what got you into photography?
I always love photography growing up and just seeing what I see in like through the lens and stuff, because people have a different perspective on the world and can see things differently, and photo is a great way to show what I see and stuff. And then it was about giving myself permission to have fun and invest in myself. And because I had never really bought anything expensive. And so like when pandemic happened and events stopped happening, that's when I was like, I'm going to invest in a nice camera since that's been a passion and that never allowed myself to get into it. So I was like, I'll see how this goes and learn how to use even more professional equipment and have a lot of fun doing it. And so that led to like talking to Chris Marhefka and starting to do his retreat that he was doing, his first men's retreat. And it led to meeting Alex and Ryan, uh, Alex Morningstar and Ryan Sprague when they're doing their retreats. And then, yeah, it branched off from there.
So it sounds like you were just, first of all, following, like you said, your passion, and then giving yourself that permission, which is a very pirate thing to do. What did something happen that made you change to do this? Or is it, I mean, the pandemic is something that changed both Kristen and I's outlook on things. Is what spurred you to take this action forward?
Yeah, like I said, it was giving myself permission to do something when like I had been putting so much external validation into organizing big events and different things and putting all my energy into everything that was outside of me instead of looking for anything within inside of myself because everything was external. And so I looked at what would make me happy and stuff, not other people happy. And photography can make other people happy, though to make them happy, I have to have a passion for it, or else I won't have a good vision and give them a product that will make them go wow. And so that's really what got started, was giving myself permission to look inside and give myself validation instead of looking for validation everywhere else.
Did you, what did that's looking or giving yourself permission, what did that look like for you? Like, was there a journey involved, or was it giving yourself permission slowly, day by day?
Yeah, I'd say slowly, day by day, because when like lockdown started and stuff, people said that they no longer needed my services for things, and it was lots of walking like 8 miles a day around the lake here in Austin and just reflecting on life and slowing down, since I'd been going go and working like 80 hours a week for different people and never focusing on myself. And so it was allowed myself to focus on me, and then within focusing on me and enjoying all the walks I was taking, it was looking at all the beauty around me and stuff, and like, I want to do this. And so it was allowing myself to enjoy it and not putting any judgment or labels on what the experience was. And so
It sounds like you're finding beauty and enjoyment in a time when a lot of people were feeling scared. So that also sounds very pirate, and like you've got an experience that's different from what others would report. So do you feel like that's what it was for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was the biggest development of like a long time and stuff, because instead of looking at the negatives or wondering what was next, I didn't uh, negation acknowledge. I looked at what was possible, and so like while that was happening, I traveled more than I haven't my entire life and stuff, going all over the country, doing things and finding more myself instead of looking for myself in others and all the events I had hosted and stuff. It was finding myself and finding my passions in life. And yeah, it was an amazing time for me. And I wouldn't say it was a tough year for me at all. It was a completely amazing year for me.
Yeah, that's something that I've found is very common with the pirates that we talk to, and even for Kristen and I, right? This pandemic has been a year of growth and change and following our passions. And one of the things that you said earlier was just finding that community. We were talking about Mark England and the Lifted crew, and what impact has finding that community had on that really great year for you?
It was pretty much everything, because I mean, it was when I allowed myself to see me and shine, then I could help other people in the community and reflect back, because everyone's a projection of yourself, and so you can only see what you see in yourself also. And so it was finding like-minded individuals, because growing up, always thought I was very introverted, because like I had nothing to say a little bit, or what would I say, and different things. And the honesty of it is that I didn't resonate with anyone around me, and nobody had like a similar experience to me. And then finding people like Mark and Mike and all of you and stuff, getting to work for Paleo Effects and the community that's in Austin and then around the country, has been instrumental in being able to support me, and then me being able to support everyone around me. It's like, it's been amazing to get to experience it and see it all.
Yeah, and that's such the important thing with having your pirate crew, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that's how I found Kristen.
Mhm.
Building your own pirate crew.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was resonating with the didn't talk really to anybody, because I had a time period of my life, most of my life until college, where I wasn't doing a lot of talking to people. And so your Audrey, I keeps popping up questions at me. I apologize.
You're the one that admitted it.
I was gonna say, who admitted
I'm
Otter into
sorry.
this?
My fault. So anyway, yeah, I was very quiet. Got paid to talk in kindergarten, and throughout elementary school, like the boys thought it was hilarious to run up to me, say my name, and then run away when after me saying what, they'd run away and laugh and say, I got her to talk. So I resonate with the not talking to people, because really there wasn't anything to say to them, especially when all they're trying to do is get me to talk. So yes, I understand that. So what social rebellion do you want to start, or have you already started a social rebellion?
I mean, I think differently than a lot of people around me, that's for sure. And being yourself and not letting other people dictate who you are. And I mean, I guess it'd be what you define as that, because I say in Austin and stuff, and the people I'm around, they're pretty different than a lot of the general public, you could say. Yeah.
What initially drew you to Austin from Pennsylvania?
Kind of, I always say serendipity, and it was like I was into functional fitness and wanting to connect more with my body, because I've spent a lot of my past being disassociated from my body, and like learn pain and different things, and just going outside of it. So I wanted to like really connect with that. And like when my mentors, Jarlo Alano, that runs Gold Medal Bodies, was mentors to a lot of the people that run the On It education program, like Shane Hines and John Wolf and them, and Isaac Milan. He's like, yeah, if you want to learn from amazing people, like On It is a great place to learn about what functional fitness is. And so I was like, sure, I'll try it for at least a month. And yeah, here I am like 4.5 years later. I did like 12 audit certifications, did Animal Flow and Art of Breath and FRC and a bunch of different fitness things. And like, that's how I started meeting my community, was using a framework that like Aubrey Marcus had built, and then meeting people that he'd bring in for his podcasts and different things. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's so funny how often we hear our guests, our pirate guests, say that they started something or they were going to move to a place for a month, and then years later, here we are, still there, right? It's all about like listening to that intuition and taking some small, bold action. So, I mean, obviously moving to Austin is a small, bold action, but what other actions have you taken to get you to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I left a job of 8.5 years. That was pretty much all I knew and stuff in Pennsylvania. And then moving to Austin, and then doing a bunch of fitness things, and then like going to New Mexico to like look into another hobby that I loved for a while, and then had to get out there, and had no place to stay and no job when I was in went back to Pennsylvania for when my dad had a stroke, and within a couple of days talked to Keith and Michelle Norris of Paleo Effects and interviewed with them, and like I had no event experience at all and stuff, and hadn't really been an assistant before. Mark put in a recommendation for me and stuff, and the rest is history of moving back to Austin and finding a place to live and all that, and making a life again. And yeah, and then doing stuff in like London for a company called Health Optimization Summit, and then moving away from what I thought was my dream, was working for Paleo Effects, like noticing that I wasn't being fulfilled in there right then. So leaving that and embarking on my next adventure of what that may be. And then paving my own path all the time.
What did you learn any new skills, anything cool? Or like, what was the biggest takeaway from becoming an event coordinator with no experience in that before saying yes to it?
Well, a lot of things I've learned about high level marketing and stuff, since they're spending like thousands on Facebook ads and stuff like that a week, and doing getting tons of emails from all over the place for speakers, and coordinating with 132 speakers on their talks and when they're doing it, and all the accommodations for them, and different things. And then it was like dealing with the event venue and organizing an event the day before. They had Health Entrepreneur FX, and coordinating the speakers and volunteers for that. And it was doing the like meals for that, planning that out for them, and the goodie bags for it. And it was all the nuances that happen, all the small minute details that people might not think about that make all the difference. And yeah, it was just really delving into the deep end and seeing everything that was involved is pretty amazing. And also like it was getting to meet people that I kind of consider as idols at one time, like Dave Asprey and Sharon Valentine and all these amazing people. And like Paul Check was another big one that I got to talk to that I really respected. And yeah.
What one of our things why we wanted to do this podcast was was people. Like, you have these people you think of, you look up to, and you look at them and you're like, hey, they're doing these really cool things. And I want to be like that. And then you meet them, you're like, they're a cool person, and now I can call them my friend. What was it like for you meeting these people that were your idols and then getting that chance to meet them as people?
And realizing that no one has things all figured out, and like we're doing the best we can with the information that we have, and as how to be adaptable. And I mean, and they're people figuring things out, and they go through the same things that everyday people do and stuff. They just have a greater influence sometimes and have amazing outlook on life, and they work hard and do great things. And yeah, it's not putting people on pedestals and or not putting yourself on their lower peg and stuff. It's like seeing that they might be a couple steps ahead of you and that I'm on the same path as them and stuff. So yeah, it's being amazing, getting to learn and model things that I really admired about them, and getting to talk to them and learn from them and them learn from me. And so yeah.
What is one of the more uncomfortable questions that you asked yourself in order to start this journey that you're on?
One more difficult question, I guess, am I actually happy and stuff? Am I actually being fulfilled in what I'm doing? What if if I died today, would I've made a difference in anyone's life? Like what impact am I making right now and stuff? And what impact do I want to be making? And so yeah.
Yeah, those are powerful questions to ask yourself, right? We talked back in episode 1 with Mark England. You know, one of the things that he talked about was the deathbed regrets, right? People, and how you know, he's spoken to people that worked in like hospice care and nurses that say people often have deathbed regrets, and that's one of the things that guides him to making those choices. And you know, that really stuck with me, what he said, because you know, what are we doing? Are we having that impact, or you know, having those fulfilling lives, or are we just kind of floating along as a passive participant in our own life? So I really like that.
Definitely. Yeah. What started me kind of long going to Austin also was like my uncle dying in a plane crash, and the person that I had looked up to for so long growing up had been all over the world and made an impact and had people come to his funeral from everywhere and stuff. And I was like, wow, the procession line's so long for this person. Like he really made an impact on people's lives. And if I happen to die tomorrow, I don't think like hardly anyone would show up compared to like this. So that was a big wake up call for me.
And so what is the impact that you want to make on the world?
I mean, helping people to follow their heart and to not like just go along with social contracts just because I think that's the way it has to be and stuff. Like you can pave your own path, and it's only difficult if you make it difficult. You're in charge of your experience, and you can have people in your life that you can rely on too. Like it's not a lone wolf game like that I grew up with. It's being able to have this community around myself and actually ask for help, which I was so afraid of asking for help for so long. So it's being able to impart some of my experiences to people and help reframe thoughts and what they're saying to themselves, because like abracadabra with our word we create, and we're casting spells in our self every day, so they might as well be great spells that we're casting instead of the small talk and negations and everything else that people all the time, it seems, have those like Billy stories and stuff. So yeah.
What spells are you casting? Do you have any favorite things you tell yourself?
And to me, that I'm amazing, I am safe, I am loved, I am enough, I am relentlessly passionate. I create my own reality. I flow with ease and grace. I choose myself. I value connection. I have clear communication. I own my power and I create my own safety.
And it looks like you're reading them. So do you have them somewhere where you can see them every day too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can turn my camera if you want.
Oh, you don't have to. It's just, yeah, as you were going, it looked like you were reading them. So that as well, like you have them that you're saying and you can see them. So you've got the extra layer to the creating of the magic. I was like, Karan, I'm looking at you, and
I was looking at you.
We're just staring at each other over here,
staring at each other's eyes.
It's like Chris Karan. So yes, so creating magic with our words. We love that language game. So
yeah, it's been instrumental in me. Before I met Mark, I had all sorts of small talk and all sorts of negations and soft talk of like putting myself down all the time and not setting any type of goals or milestones for myself and not realizing what my like internal dialogue was doing to me and stuff. Like coming to Austin, I was so hunched in and so protected and retracted that I wasn't opening up to anyone. And like he saw me and kind of took me under his wing some. And yeah, it's been instrumental in being able to become this person that I am today.
body language really says a lot too. Like words are important, and how you hold your body too, because I also played that small, like I was tall in growing up. I was a few inches taller than most of the kids in my class in middle school. So I started hunching to make myself less visible. And as once I realized, oh, like my words, they're effective. Like I have power within them, and I can create what I want my day to look like. It helped me as well to start standing straighter, feeling taller, being able to appreciate that I had some height as well. So yeah, having that inner dialogue is just as important as the outer dialogue.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love that physical like manifestation of the fact that like I get to take up space. Right. And because, I think, a lot of us have played that I would call it a game, but that trying to shrink down and be smaller. And I remember one year, one of my New Year's resolutions was to walk with my head up and make eye contact with people, because I would walk through the streets with my head down and not look at anybody, not smile at anyone, afraid to make any connection with the strangers that I was passing by in my own neighborhood. And even just that one change really was impactful, because now I was standing taller. I was, like I said, taking up that space. I was making eye contact and like allowing myself to be here and be present and be seen, right? As a first step. I wasn't being heard, but it was a great first step to take up space, to allow myself to take up space in the world.
I was doing NLP certification. They were saying that communication is 7% words, 38% tonality, and 55% physiology.
Yeah, and if you're hunched over, you're showing you're closed versus standing up. You show, hey people, hey world, I'm open. You're safe and free to come say hi to me versus leave me alone. I'm over here.
Being open is much more vulnerable. And I had a hard time being vulnerable at first, definitely. So.
And how did you get more comfortable with it? Was this practice or?
Being around people that I felt safe with, that I resonated with, finding community that I actually like being in, around people that are amazing and think similarly and help me grow and evolve. And also plant medicine, but
Those are handy too. Well, where can our listeners go to find out more about you, and learn about you, see what you're up to and your photography as well?
I'm Curious Conceptions on Instagram, and my website is clayconceptions.com. And yeah, there's a gallery tab on the website, and yeah.
Yeah, go check out your photos.
Mhm. He takes good ones.
Yeah. How would you recommend our listeners go about starting their own pirate life?
Follow the beat of your own drum, and don't let other people's own experience of life affect yours and stuff. Like, you're in charge of your own experience, and so yeah, be yourself, follow your intuition, and yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. That's
Be
good
yourself.
advice.
Yeah. Well, and in that being yourself, what is the greatest lesson that you've learned in being yourself?
That it's okay to be goofy and silly and express myself in however I want to be and stuff, that I am enough and I get to like be whoever I want to be, and that can change and stuff. And like, I'm a projection of everyone around me, and so perception is projection. And so yeah, it's just allowing myself to be and have fun with life and see all the small and big wonderful things that are around every day, and that I might not take appreciate necessarily and stuff.
Now, you're also very good at puns, and I haven't heard a single pun yet. So, do you have one for me?
I haven't heard any puns. I mean, they usually, if you say something and there's a really quick pun, I'm pretty fast, but you've been asking questions and hasn't been normal conversation. So
There hasn't been any pun opportunities.
Pun
opportunities. I was trying to make a word out of it, but I couldn't.
You
Well-
haven't been funny enough for me to do it.
Well, then, do you know any pirate jokes?
You know, any part jokes?
No? That's okay. We have one ready for you.
Mhm. Are you ready?
Are you ready for it?
Nope.
How much did the pirate pay for his peg and hook?
How much?
An arm and a leg.
Arr.
I think that's one of our better pirate jokes. I like that one.
See, there's a pun for you.
Well, it's been so great having you on, Clayton, and getting to meet you for the first time. I know you and Kristen have gotten to meet in person, but it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure and amazing experience.
And thanks also to your otter AI
Yeah.
for all the lovely questions it threw at us.
And now you can see a transcription of this whole thing.
It's rock and roll, guys. There are no rules. This one goes to 11.